Hey guys, welcome back to Dog Skills. And today we are going to help your dogs learn how to coexist with the cat in the house. How many of you have a cat that isn't so fond of your dog and a dog that is very fond of your cat? Type in yes in the comments below if that is you. And I do want to state I'm here as often as I can on Wednesdays, as close to 1:30 as I can be. Today I'm a little past that time, and I do want to keep coming back here to help you guys out. The best way for me to help you is when you're involved. So if you're able to comment, share the videos, watch the replay, everything that you can do to spread the word, and then also comment so I can be here to help you, because when you comment, then you and I can have a personal interaction together, which is so much fun. So again, we're going to talk about all those dog and cat interactions. So this video is geared towards a dog that actually likes your cat, not a dog that is aggressive towards your cat. If that's the case, comment below, because I would love to be able to help you with that as well, for sure. So I really wanted to do this video because, I've had so many people that have had dog to cat problems. I've had a Shih Tzu that I worked with a while ago that, was tormenting the cat. I have a border collie that was in the same boat, another border collie, and I recently got a call on a dog in a similar scenario. So I thought, oh, let's do a Facebook Live on this today. So I wanted to start off by showing you we got a viewer. Yay! I hope to hear from you. Let me know if you are struggling with some dog to cat interactions, right? Yes or no in the comments. I'm excited to hear about you, and welcome. So we're going to share this video here. And I want you to comment as you're watching this. What do you see that's telling you that this dog is wanting to attack the cat or wanting to play with the cat? And a little bit of insight would be to look at the dog's tail. What is the height of it? So a lot of people believe that a wagging tail means the dog is friendly. It's the height of the tail that you want to look for. Is the body stiff or fluid? Is the body weight more forward or back or balanced? Is there a lot of curves in the body or more stiffness? What are you seeing that's telling you that this cat is either friendly the dog is friendly or wanting to be aggressive towards this cat? And the cat's there, little black cat. This is an online client that I worked with recently.
What's everybody doing?
Bisla. So right here we got a lot of stiffness, don't we? What happens after that? Eye fixation and some forward movement. Ooh, look at the tail. Now remember, tail's wagging, but that doesn't mean they're friendly. What's the height? Is it high, low, neutral? What are you seeing? Oh, wiggly body, huh? Got some whining there. I think we'll fast forward it a little bit.
What's going on, Chickadee? Gentle.
Ooh, that's a good one to see. Let's go back and watch that part, because look at that body language there. Oh, did I see a play bow?
Gentle. Be gentle.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Again.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Some stiffness.
You be nice to your kitty. She's a good
Yeah,
kitty.
it's kind of a
She's your friend. She's your family.
Penny, gentle, good girl. Good girl.
I really hate that they chopped her tail off like that.
Yeah, I don't like how they chop the tails off either. I'm with you on that. Okay. So what did you see in this video, guys? I want to hear. What did you see that told you that this dog is more playful or aggressive? So I pointed some things out, right? We had a lot of wiggling going on, right? So let's go back and see that again.
Kitty. She's a good kitty. She's your friend. She's your family.
All kinds of curves in the body. Like, can you see that?
Good.
So the body's like sitting, then downing, and the head goes this way and that way. And woo, 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 woo. A lot of curves means that the dog is wanting to play. If you see a whole bunch of stiffness, then that's the time to be like, not sure if these two are buds here. Right. Especially a lot of stiffness with eye fixation, which we did start the video with some of that. Right. Even though the head's not fully aligned, if the head was really in alignment with the spine, then I would be more concerned, especially if the body weight was forward. In addition to that, that we do have that little bit of curvature going on here in the neck, right? And then we got some stiffness, but then it shifts, right, to the curves. So, and then the tail's at a neutral height. If the dog was in a more aggressive stance, that tail is going to be up high. And it could be wagging really intensely up high or super, super straight. And then we saw a lot of jumping around movements. So this dog wants to play with the cat. Isn't that cool? All right. So, but this cat, not so much, doesn't want that interaction. So what in the heck do we do to help redirect that behavior? You know what? I want to talk about some stuff in this video that this owner could do right away. So you could do reward the absence of the behavior. So every time the dog like isn't bothering the cat, you could click and treat that. So that's called kind of rewarding the absence of the behavior. So let's say the dog were to go over by the chair, we could click and treat that. Or maybe he would go over to the wall back here, the door, or down the hallway or up the stairs. Basically is giving the cat some space. Now, when we look at this video, if I were to do some watching here, most of the time he's interacting with the cat, but that right there, I would, the cat seems pretty cool with that. So that's a good behavior you could click and treat. I'm going to click and treat if you're downing and giving the cat space. So I could click and treat it down. I could click distance in between the cat and the dog. What else does the dog do? That we wouldn't really want to click and treat that because that's a lot of cat interaction there. If we rewarded that, then obviously we're going to get more cat interaction. So here, there's a sign where the dog is farther away and we have some space. We could click that as well. So when we're rewarding the absence of the behavior, we're rewarding a lot of different things the dog is doing. We're not picking one specific thing. We're not picking just sitting or just being at a distance or just downing. We're basically saying anytime you're doing something that is not interacting with the cat, then we'll reward that. Because the down was pretty close to the cat, but there wasn't, interaction going on there. So that would be something that I would love to reward. And so then we got a lot more interaction going on. Oh, there's a sit. So now the sit was over here. Now the sit's here. So now the sit's in a different location. So what that actually does for the neurology of the brain is the dog starts realizing, oh, I can do all sorts of things. It gives the dog the freedom of choice on what they want to do, but they're definitely not going to get rewarded for going after the cat. So That one, even though the dog's in a down, there's a lot of interaction going on there with the head. I probably wouldn't reward that. Same thing with the sitting here. We got a dog that's sitting but then staring at the cat. I probably wouldn't reward that. I really want to make sure that I'm getting some nice, good distance. If the dog is close, they're not staring at the cat. So if we were to go back to that down, let's see if I can show you that again, and I can find it here. Or even one of the sits. So here, the dog is staring, but there's a lot of distance. So that's why I was like, well, I think that one's okay. Does that make sense? And of course, if you end up rewarding something that you don't end up liking, you can always change it, right? So here, I like that the dog's downing, but close, but there's no interaction going on. So that would be rewarding in the absence of behavior. And that's a really simple thing to do. You can just sit in the room with your clicker and treats and just chillax. So remember, the clicker is marking the behavior that you like. And remember, you got to reward your dog with something that they actually want. So it's got to be a treat that they're motivated to work for. Oh, goody, we got people. Yay. Cool. So do you guys have a cat and a dog that isn't doing so well? The cat wants some space and the dog's like, hey, you're my best friend. Let me know in the comments, because I would love to have a conversation with you so I can help you best. So here, we're going to notice while we were training the dog with Leave It, and then the border collie decided it was going to go off after the cat. So I want you to notice what the owner does here. What does the owner do to redirect the dog off the cat? Do your target or come. Probably come would work better right now.
Shelly, come.
So Shelly's not coming, right? So what does the owner do to then entice Shelly to come? What do you see her do? Go ahead and move towards her and make a noise.
Shelly, come.
Her back. There you go. So what did you see her do? Let's see if anybody commented on here. Okay, that's okay. So she moved towards her, right, and made a noise, which encourages the dog to then redirect off the cat, come over to the owner. So at this point, this is the behavior we would want to reward, right? Because now the dog is away from the cat. So she's going to click and treat. Say yes.
Yes.
And she's using a yes marker instead of the clicker. Her dog didn't like the click. So we decided to use a yes marker. So if your dog is scared of the clicker, you can always use the yes bridge. And we're doing a high value treat search. We want the dog to eventually come really well with a lot of distractions. You don't really need to do that at home. You could just give 1 or 2 treats. And then from there, she's going to actually get the dog into a sit. So the dog broke away, but then she's going to ask the dog to sit. Lure, where you do that upside down L. Okay, and do a stay. So after you call your dog to you, your dog may eventually just immediately want to go after the cat again. And so it can be helpful to reward a stay. So notice she did that up and backwards movement with her hand. And then I want you to notice the clicks and treats that she does to help her dog to stay.
Yes.
Right, and she's using yes and treat.
Stay.
So notice how she's rewarding the stay. She's doing great. So we got her off the cat. Woohoo! Awesome. And I would love to hear. So here she's doing yes and treat again. Okay. So you could do that yes treat for, any length of time really that your dog can be successful with. But if they're having that harder time, it's probably going to be around 2 to 5 seconds. You're getting a really short stay and then you do an okay to release your dog, or all done. All right. But again, that stay is going to prevent them from, immediately running back over there. It's going to encourage them to be by you longer and to have a good time. But the number one mistake I see a lot of people do is they release their dog and give the treat then. You want to give the treat during the stay because that's what you want your dog to learn is to hold the stay. So make sure you're rewarding the dog during that actual stay for best results on that. Oh, great. We got some people. So do you have a dog and a cat that could use some help? Let me know in the comments below so I can help you best. All right. So in this video, the owner did come, all right, to call the dog off. But I also said, if you remember, target. She could say target instead. So this is me training a dog to do target. So again, you're getting the dog to come to you. So I want you to watch that again here so you can kind of get a clear picture. So a person could be standing here and saying target. So again, the dog's in the other room with the cat, and you could be away saying target to get the dog to then break off the cat and come to you. So the way that you would train that is you want to start with training what the meaning of target is, first of all. So you're going to get a treat in your hand, okay? And then you're going to hold it at muzzle height, all right? A treat in your hand, and then you're going to put it in front of your dog. And your dog may avoid it initially. And then as soon as they touch it, you're gonna click and treat. We got some crumbs down there, so I'm just gonna take a little break and clean up some of those. And then once your dog's readily touching your hand, then you would just start adding the command target. So can you see how I can move the dog around, but not only move them around, but in a way that I can get them into an exact location. So let's say the cat was over here by the fridge. I could literally get my dog to move to the right side of me with target. And really not move that distance distance away. With come, usually the dog's going to think, oh, I got to move far away, right? You're usually farther away from the dog, but you're right next to the dog. But you also can get an exact spot. So if you're in a cramped corner or something, target can work amazing to redirect that dog. But again, you got to train the meaning of this word first, and you can totally do it off the leash at home with your doors closed in the house, of course. I'm just at the shelter here, so that's why there's a leash on the dog. All right, so here's an owner that is using target, okay? So her cat is totally off the camera, but Carla came to me and she was really struggling with Frida, wanting to really play with this cat and just be in this cat's face all the time. The cat just didn't want it. The cat actually was getting upset. So we did the rewarding of the absence of the behavior, and then we also did target. So I want you to notice how the cat is off the camera, off to the right here. Okay. How she targets Frida away from the cat. She's never targeting towards. And if you do target towards, then you want to immediately target away. So you could be like, oh, look, here's the cat. Can you move away? That would be fine as long as your dog can move away. But if they can't move away, then you're always going to be targeting them away. If they're understanding it well enough to start leaving the cat alone, then you could target towards the cat to get them to be like, oh, look, there's the cat there. Now move away from it. This is what we want you to do, is to go in the opposite direction. So there she goes away from the cat. And she's moving around just to, you know, get Frida into, okay, where do you go when the cat's here? You can go over here. You can go in this location, that location. Oh, what we don't want to do is just go and stare at the cat and try to interact and play with the cat. So here it's clearly moving away because, again, the cat's over here. So when you're watching this video, who's more exciting, the owner or the cat? What are you guys thinking? I'm thinking the owner. Did you write down owner? And that's what you want, is you want the dog to be more into something else than the cat. So that's good. So sometimes people are like, well, my dog's not learning anything because they're just paying attention to me. Well, that's what we want. We want them to pay attention to you and not the cat. And that's what we're rewarding them to do, is to do the targeting away from the cat. So you can do a game like this. And then you can also do it in that other video with the border collie where the owner calls the dog off and it's in a separate room and just use target instead of come. So it works amazing well. So here, oh, this is a good spot to show you, is because I think Frida goes and looks at the cat there. Yeah, there we go. Target. And then she immediately goes off. So you can see, let's slow that down a little bit because you can see her ears like go up and forward. And she alerts towards the cat. So right there, we got this very stiff tail, straight spine, ears are going a little bit forward, and that eye fixation. So now we'll let you watch it. There we go. Ooh, cat. Oh, okay. I'm going to pay attention to my owner instead and do the target. So that's what you want to start getting more is, oh, I noticed a cat, and then I'm just redirecting off to you. That's when you know you're making really good progress, when you see that. So the dog doesn't forget the cat's there. Make sure you understand that. All right. So training your dog to go to the place is a really good idea. In fact, that's what we ended up doing with this Vizsla. We actually taught this dog to go to its bed. So we used target, and then we had the option of getting the dog to go to the bed. I don't think the owners needed to use the bed that much because the targeting ended up working really well. But just like in this video where the owner ended it with a stay, right? You could call the dog off the cat and then get the dog to go to their bed. And the whole idea with the bed is to stay there until they're released. Right. So we're going to talk about getting your dog to learn to stay on their place.
Have your dog go to their bed. And the idea is you ask them to go to their bed, and then they eventually get to stay there until you release them. So we're going to work on training that today. So the easiest way to train that is to wait for your dog to just go on their bed. So just like Xena did here, and then click in treat.
And notice I'm treating by putting the treat on the bed. You don't have to do that, but if you do that, your dog's going to think more of the bed. So putting that treat on the bed can be really, really helpful.
Xena, okay.
And then at that point, remember we talked about to treat during the stay, but not during the release. But usually it is helpful for this to, when you want the dog to go off, to toss a treat to do the release. Because in that way you have the chance to then get them back on, learn the association with the command, and then reward the duration of staying on the bed.
And then you'll wait for it to happen again. So initially when you're training this, it's not going to happen right away. This is something new that Xena is learning. So she doesn't know it super well, but she's starting to want to go to her bed more frequently than she was.
So you could literally wait as long as you need to, and then eventually the dog may go on the bed. And that's called behavior catching. Now, you could also lure the dog on with a treat, which I think you'll see in the future, but I think eventually I wait long enough and the dog goes on.
So one thing you can do if your dog is just not going on their bed and they're having trouble understanding that, you can do what's called shaping. So what I did is I just clicked when she started inching her neck forward.
Okay, so we're talking about shaping in this one. Yeah, that works too. That's a little bit more complex. So if you're green on this, it's new for you, then you may not want to do shaping. But if you are more advanced with training, you might want to. So I clicked when the dog was looking on the bed. And then I could click when the dog puts 1 foot on, then 2 feet on, then 3 feet on. So now one of the back feet is on the bed too. And then the 4th foot is on the bed. And so basically you're taking the terminal behavior that you want and you're breaking it up into successive approximations. And then you eventually just stop rewarding those previous approximations. So you'd stop rewarding 1 foot on or 2 feet on, and you'd only reward 3 or 4 feet on. And then eventually you stop rewarding the 3 feet on and only reward the 4 feet. So you kind of go up that scale there.
You're having trouble understanding that, you can do what's called shaping. So what I did is I just clicked when she started inching her neck.
So now I'm going to be clicking and treating while the dog stays on the bed. And you can do that for as long as you want. So especially if the cat's around, you may do, you know, a good 5-10 clicks and treats. And then you can release and toss that treat to get your dog off the bed. Remember, you need a really high treat frequency to get your dog to stay on there if they really want to go after the cat. And you want to think of the positioning of the bed as well. So if I was dealing with this particular dog, I probably wouldn't, you know, want the bed to be super close to the cat. I might, you know, have it be back here by this closet door or somewhere in the hallway or somewhere off the screen to the right or the left, somewhere where I'm creating distance in between the dog and the cat. Like a good, I would like a good probably 10 to 20 feet, maybe even more than that, especially if your dog's really zoned in. It might be helpful to even have more distance so your dog thinks about the cat less when it gets on the bed. So, oh, hi, nice to see you. I would love to interact with you if you're willing. Let me know if you're struggling with dog to cat interactions. So here, this owner is going to get their dog onto the bed. And I want you to notice her saying the command right before the dog goes on the bed. So they're learning the meaning of, I think the owner is using the word bed, but you can use whatever you want. I used place with my dog.
Place.
Okay. Place.
Nice job. Click. Yep.
So she used place. So as soon as that dog was about ready to go on to the place, she said place and then clicked and treated.
Good. Now ask him to down.
Sit. Oh. Down. Down. Good boy.
Good. Now this next time when
So then she's going to keep clicking and treating while that dog is on the bed. Okay. And remember, if this is new, it's going to be a really short duration in the beginning, and then you can gradually increase that time duration as your dog gets better at it and it gets easier for them. That makes sense. If anyone has any questions on this, let me know. Just check in to see if there's any comments. Got a lot of watchers today. Maybe we'll get somebody interacting. All right, so this dog again is learning to go to the place. So again, like if you're dealing with a cat, where would you put the bed? So from what you've learned so far, where would you put that bed? Comment below and let me know what you're thinking. Do you have it close or far away from the cat? So notice what the owner does here to get the dog onto the bed, all right? Because this dog is still learning place. To make sure you have your bed, your clicker and your treats, and your dog is near the bed. And then you can go ahead and set a treat on the bed, or you can wait for your dog to look on the bed and click as they look on the bed. This client here is using a lure method where she is kind of moving the treats forward on the bed to get the dog to come on the bed farther. So we did talk about how you could do shaping. We talked about how you could do behavior catching. So here she's doing the lure, but she is doing luring with a little bit of shaping there, right? Because the dog isn't all the way on initially, and we're rewarding the dog to go farther and farther onto the bed over time. But you could also wait for the dog to look on the bed, click and treat that, then they get 1 foot on the bed, click and treat that, then 2 feet, then 3 feet, 4 feet, etc. to do a method called shaping, which then breaks the whole behavior up into approximations until you get to the terminal behavior, which is all 4 feet are on the bed, and you're gonna see that Kelly is gonna go ahead and click and treat that because Puggy did a really, really nice job at going on the bed.
Oh, there we go. Yay! Good.
So notice, is she continually rewarding the dog for being on the bed, or is she just kind of like not connecting with the dog here? I want you to really pay attention to that.
Yeah, and now what you'll do is you'll do that movement to get them into the down, okay?
I would recommend to do a down. Your dog is probably going to be more likely to stay on the bed with a down, but every dog is different. There's always exceptions to that. But usually a dog is going to be more relaxed if they're in the down position.
Hey, good. Nice job, Puggy. Good job, Kelly. Look at what amazing progress you guys have made together. What a great team you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what's the answer to that question? Is the dog getting a lot of attention for staying on the bed? Yes or no? Let's see if anyone's writing. So I would say yes, the dog is, right? Because she's petting him, giving him treats, talking to him, giving him eye contact. And those are things that are rewarding Puggy to stay on the bed. And the more that the dog's getting rewarded for staying on the bed, the more they're going to stay on the bed, right? And then answer the other question, we would probably want the bed to be far away from the cat, not close, so that we're redirecting the dog away from the cat and encouraging them to relax onto the bed instead of continually thinking about the cat.
And now you can start doing like some clicks and treats for staying on there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use this go to your bed technique like anytime he's riling up and maybe just having trouble settling down, and this might help.
So to keep your dog on the bed, then you're going to keep doing some clicks and treats, periodic rewards, help them stay on there. Like now, it might not be periodic. If it's the first time you've done it, you might be doing a high frequency. If your dog's getting it, then you can be more periodic and you can have the space between the treats and have more time duration. It's doing there. So here, notice the dog got up and broke. And ideally, we want to release the dog before they get off the bed on their own. So Kelly is then luring Puggy back onto the bed because he was thinking of going off of it before she released him. And when you're ready to release the dog, you toss that treat to get them to come off, and then you say a release word. That could be all done, release, let's go. Something that's consistent that says, now you're allowed to get off the bed. And then you'll wait for them to come back on the bed when you're training this. So again, when you want to train it, you don't want to just train it in the moment of the cats, right? You want to actually spend training time so your dog has time to integrate the meaning of this word and the understanding of what you're wanting. So when you release them off, that's why I'm saying it's a good time to do more training then. Because repetition creates success. And notice that's when she would say the command, right? As that dog is going on that bed. Kelly got the dog into the down. She lured him into the down there. And she is going to, again, periodically reward Puggy for staying into the down. So I hope this is... So it's a really great command to train when you are wanting to get your dog to be more calm around cats. So we talked about behavior catching, or sorry, that is a form of behavior catching actually, but we talked about rewarding the absence of the behavior. So we're just catching behavior randomly as the dog is away from the cat and not interacting with the cat. That's one option. We talked about using target or come to get the dog off the cat, and then redirecting them to a stay or a place. There are a lot of different options that you can do to help. But the biggest thing you want to make sure, again, is your dog being playful? And if he's not, then make sure you let me know, because if it's aggression, etc., you know, then we might want to handle it a different way. But this is the perfect way to handle it if your dog is just super playful and your cat needs a little bit of space. So if you enjoyed this Facebook Live with me. I would love to see you again. I'm doing my best to be here every Wednesday close to 1:30, and I would love to see you back. And I do have some fun announcements. So this coming Thursday, I will be at the Burton Library. So if you live in Ohio and you are struggling with a dog with loose leash walking, definitely come to this webinar. Or sorry, it's not a webinar, it's in person. My bad. Come to this in-person event workshop at the Burton Library this Thursday on 7/6. It's at 6:00 p.m. I would love to meet you in person. And then the following Thursday, I'm going to be doing one on preventing your puppy's, predicting your puppy's needs to prevent mouthing. Really important to understand what their need is to stop this mouthing problem. And it's on 7/13, also at the Burton Library. And if you have kids, yay, we're doing a class for kids and dogs. It'll be the 4-day class in July. If you are interested in any of these events, there is links pinned in the comments below. They are all live in person, and you can go to them to, have fun and play with me. And if you're more interested in private training, totally cool as well. I would love to pop on a phone chat with you. There is a linky dink in the bottom where you can click on schedule that phone chat, and we can see if we're a good match. Generally, people who want to empower themselves to train their dog. So they want to put in the time, the effort, so that their dog listens to them, and they want to do it in a positive way, and they want the training program tailored to them. Those types of people are really, really great match to work with me. So definitely pop on that link, schedule a chat if you'd like. There's also a link where you can learn about my other services as well. And thank you so much for attending today. I hope to see you again in the future on Wednesday around 1:30, and have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you had an amazing 4th of July as well. Bye, everybody.